All right, we're rolling live from the wasteland out here in Survival Pod. This is Freedom Phil, and what am I talking about right now? I see this tendency with some channels that there's a lot of view botting, buying of subscribers, and what's my thoughts on that? Because like I see some people get a big head about themselves, even though then I look at their content, and some days they knock it out of the park. Other days it's as bland and boring as you could ever imagine. So when I see the numbers, I'm like, I just don't buy it. So, you look at it, I'm like, okay, it's clearly a scam. But do I have a problem with this scam? Well, it's Freedom Phil. Like, subscribe. Let's get into it and I'll explain. Yeah. By the way, if I upload this, watch it at 1.75. Let's get into it. It's like this. I think most of YouTube and a lot of social media is just a scam, just a hustle, just bullshit. If you take up the correct opinions, depending on which platform you're on, you're allowed to grow. Like they take barriers out of your way so you can naturally grow. In some cases, though, if you happen to carry the right correct opinions, depending on what platform you're on, whether it's a right platform or a left platform, or you would hope there'd be a neutral platform, but for the most part, I don't really think there is. If you take up the absolute correct standards, oh, they'll make you grow. If you're into some of those weird categories, like for instance on YouTube, if you're some type of rainbow, trans, furry, look like some weird degenerate type of thing, and don't get me wrong, I'm cool if you be in whatever way you want to be, then bada bing, bada boom, you're able to grow. If you are kind of cute, have boobs, and act stupid, or erratic, yeah, you can grow. If you're anything serious, talking about real things, good luck with that. You're going to have to organically grow if they'll let you grow. There's a number of subjects that if you talk about, you will just not grow. So the only way to grow at that point is basically word of mouth. Like, okay, you'll see this back in the day. I noticed it with a guy called Sargon. There were a number of people that the only reason they got as big as they did is because Sargon collabed with them. And that was like the boost. Where other people said, hey, I like that guy. He's got some cool opinions. And so people start watching those other people. Now, whether John and others still talk to him, that's another story. Some cases I've seen people out there where they'll basically, they'll pay for people to shout out their channel on bigger channels. I got to give credit for that. That's pretty smart, But here and there, I just see individuals where I look at it and I'm like, their content is mid, sometimes good, but usually mid or sub mid. Some of the furries I've seen out there remind me of that. And you're like, you're not really putting a lot of effort into this, are you? Like I've seen people where they do the sleep stream, and it's just to get the certain amount of hours so they make their requirements. And then you look at the growth of the channel and you're like, well, who are these people? And then you watch the chat and you're like, the chats are like, where you see someone with 60, 70, 80,000, 100,000 people. And you look at the chat and you're like, there's maybe 20 people in it. Maybe on a good day, 50. But like, there's only really 10 to 20 people in it that are people. And the rest of them are just like robots giving the robotic responses, or, like fucking weird, creepy people hitting on a chick. And you look at it like, this isn't real. And you think to yourself, why does YouTube allow it to happen? Is it because there's certain agendas they like pushing? And part of that, yes, obviously. Or is it there's just so much money still in the pot that they're willing just to throw it onto things? Because you got to know that they know that people are view botting and people are, buying subscribers. That's why you see so many different, robot channel, retard channels out there where they'll come into your stuff and be like, hi. Or they'll say the most generic, stupid shit. They'll be asking you questions, like probing questions. Where you at? What are you doing? What is that? They're not even talking about what the subject is. And it's like, yeah, it's because they're fucking robots. So then you can buy robot subscribers over and there's an infinite supply of robot channels that you can buy subscribers from. And I've heard anywhere from like $3 to $10 to $20 to buy like how many views or how many subscribers. And you can tell when somebody paid for it. And maybe that's their way of fucking, an ego boost. Makes them feel better. It's like their little scoop of ice cream. But there's also the factor that if you're a sponsored channel or not, or you're getting paid for the views. Well, the more views you have, and therefore the more subscribers you have, these things kind of balance. More money you make. So at some point, you could just write it off as a calculation. If you're getting more views, are you making more money at the end of the day? And the answer is yes, if it's enough. So people say it's clearly a scam, but the question is, do I have a serious problem with the scam? I'm kind of 50-50 on it, to be honest. Okay, my problem isn't that they're scamming YouTube. My problem is the attitude some of them end up getting. Like, you see people that in reality, they ain't done shit. And their content is kind of shit. But because they've bought enough bots, subscribers, and they buy some views, they walk around like this huge, like, they try to be like Vegeta swinging a dick. They just like that fucking level of ego. And it's like, come on, dude. Like, you're not that. But on the internet, it's like the joke of the internet. But on the internet, I'm this. That's my only problem with it. Like, my basic outlook is, if YouTube pays more money to people that are scamming the system, and YouTube refuses to do anything about it for whatever reason, then I'm going to be like, whatever. I'm not going to be like pissed off about it. In fact, if people bought me views, and occasionally people have bought me subs and have bought me views, when I happen to be talking about just the right issue, or for whatever reason, the dumbest shit would get tons of views. Like, I did this thing recently, a number of days ago, where I lit up my rocket stove just to see how long it would take to catch fire. And I think it was like 45 seconds to be at high burn, to basically where, like, this wood, just a little bit of paper to get it to high burn. And I got like over 7,000, 8,000 views on that video. There's no fucking reason that should have got that many views. I look at it and I'm like, well, maybe people just like fire. Maybe the algorithm rewards you for fire. I don't know. Ghetto and fire. I don't fucking know. But the point of it is that situations like that, I think to myself, did someone boost that of all the things to boost? And then the channel does a little well for a little bit of time. And I'm like, so then you're like, it's kind of confusing, to be honest, of like what's really good and what's just fucking bullshit. And they're like, well, you look into your analytics, but what if people are manipulating the situation with fake views, fake bots, fake subscribers? What's actually real? And that's where I just look at it and go, this is part of the reason I just take YouTube as a joke. It's just something I do as a side gig. It's not, I don't even get paid to do it. It's just something to fill the time. And truth be known, down the road, when I got something more serious to do, I'll be like, YouTube will be basically kicked to the curb. I'll be like, oh, don't stop making videos. And it's like, nah, really. I mean, look, I get some views here and there, but like, there's nothing real to it. It's not like it's paying my bills. And given the choice, like, let's just say I was going to go out fishing or hiking. Which am I going to want to do? YouTube or go do something I'd really rather do? And the same thing goes for playing video games or, riding a bicycle. Sure, YouTube's kind of fun, and it's fun to have a conversation with some random people here and there, but it's not real life, and it's not paying my bills. So it's not like I'm not gonna dedicate myself to something. I'm just gonna have some weird conversations occasionally, and that's maybe the cycle of a lot of YouTubers. Like, I've seen guys that were pretty big in one sphere or one or another. They rise and fall, and then eventually, and by the way, if you made the money, fucking good on you, man. You made the money, hopefully you took it and you invested it, and you're able to live off the dividends. Like, just like fucking fracking for oil. You got the oil, you sold the oil, and then you took it and reinvested it into something else. Fucking right on, man. But if all you did was like what a lot of people do, which is you start huffing your own farts, and then now that you're rich, for attempt time, you pissed away the money. Fucking joke's on you and Rip Bozo. So I don't know. That's my thoughts on when I see what seems clearly like people are view botting. Because I don't know. A lot of it just seems fake and gay to me. But hey, man, if YouTube's not going to bust you for the BS, why should I fucking blow my mind over it? And hey, if I got people buying me views, buying me subs, shit, whatever. It's all fake anyways. Freedom Phil, like, subscribe. Y'all have a great day. Maybe I'll think of some better content later, but like really, it's kind of a slow day, and maybe that's a good thing. Maybe the world's getting a little saner for just a brief moment, like a reprieve between this and the next insanity. Peace.